Good evening, Moira Raboisai. Chevre, Heilige Yidden. Welcome. Is the camera straight? I don't know. Let's find out. Whoops. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're with the camera straight. We still do not have our microphone. The port to plug it in over here. Where is it? Right there. It's etwas nicht im Ganzen doesn't work properly, so we can't really hook up a microphone to there. So I believe you could hear me good enough for now. Until we get a good microphone, take a while. At least we have charger. If we run out of battery, it's a portable charger. Connect in the charger, whatever you need. At least you have a portable charger. 2 chargers. Very important. If you're doing stuff like this, have some chargers. Kids there. They say no matter how many chargers you have, whenever you're gonna need it in the plug, it's never gonna be there. Okay. Any case, Baruch Hashem, this is the 3rd shiur we're giving today. But we're doing Shleisha Prakim today, but not Shleisha Prakim, because in the morning we did a perek for 2 days ago, and an hour ago we did a perek for yesterday, and now we're doing a perek for today, and hopefully once we finish this, we'll do the perek for tomorrow. And maybe even we have to do not only for tomorrow, which is Friday, we might have to do the shiur for after tomorrow, for Shabbos, because otherwise, Motzei Shabbos, we'll have to make up for Shabbos, and then when we're trying to make up for Shabbos, we won't focus enough to be able to make up to appear the shiur for Sunday. And if you mess up the shiur for Sunday, then on Sunday we're going to be busy figuring out the shiur of Motzei Shabbos, and then we're going to have a whole mess like we have now. So we're trying to get ahead of the game over here. Hopefully that works out. The kids here. Okay, today we're going to talk about 10 types of people which are not qualified to testify. Then we're going to read about the Isha and the Eved, are they apostle or not. Then we're going to read about a Katan, if he's kosher or not. Then we're going to learn about something very fascinating, very interesting topics. We're going to speak about shoite, a cheresh, someone who's deaf, and someone who is blind. Okay, let's get right into it. I did not even have time to appear any pictures or graphics. Okay, hopefully it will work out. Malacha Aleph. Asara mini paslusein. 10 types of people that are apostle to give testimony. Kol mishin by echad mihen ari apostle. Whoever has one of them is disqualified. Ve'elohin. Hanashim, the Nashim are apostle. Avadim, slaves are apostle. Ktanim are apostle. Shaitim, someone who's a shaite. Acharishim, someone who is deaf. Ve'asumim, someone who is blind. Ve'rishoim, someone who is a rasha. What is a rasha? We're going to find out. Habzuim, what is bzuing? I don't know. Someone like a homeless, someone who does not respect himself, goes around doing balagan, shtusim. V'akrevim, someone who is family related to what he's testifying on. V'anoigin be'edusa, someone who's negah be'edus, he has some interest over here to testify. All these are apostle. Yeah, we're gonna cover a few of them today, and later on, next prakim, following prakim, we're gonna cover more about the Rishonim, Bzuim, Krevim. Okay. Beis. Nashim sulis minatera. Nashim are apostle to testify. Shenemar al pi shnai medim. Lashon zacher. It says 2 witnesses. Lashon zacher. So it means we need to have a male, not a isha. Lay lashon nekeva. Yeah. The Ramah actually says in this that things that are nashim it's more their subject. I don't know what exactly. Things which are specifically for nashim, they are kosher. There are certain things which nashim are kosher, but there are most things they're not. Okay, halacha gimel. Someone who you cannot tell if he's a man or a woman, or someone who has simonim of both. It's also possible. Because it's not clear if they're ish or isha. If someone who is, you have a suffix, there's not 100% clarity, then he remains apostle. She'eina eid ba el haitzi momin al piv or chayiv al piv ovain ve'im mitzi momin misafik ve'eina shem misafik in Torah. So because you're not sure 100% what's his category, and you're trying to go and make a strong argument to something which you're trying to determine something 100%, so you can't have someone who's you're not sure about him to tell you, to confirm for you something. If he himself is not confirmed about who he is, what he is, how can he confirm for something else? Okay, very simple. Halacha daled. Havadim psulim lo edus min haTorah. Slaves are puzzled. They're not allowed to testify min haTorah. Shenhama be'edim v'asisim loy kasher zaman v'asis la'achim. Where do we learn this? We don't learn this directly from a case. We learn it from like a backwards, so to speak. We say that edim, if you have two witnesses who came to testify, then it turned out they were lying. Now you have to do to them like they wanted to witness on punish what they wanted to punish this person. Let's say they said the person owed $1 million. It turned out that doesn't owe $1 million. Somebody else, someone testified that they have no idea what they're talking about. There was somewhere else when the story that they said happened. There was somewhere else. So we punished them. We punished them like he tried to do to his fellow brother. The Torah mentions that his fellow brothers. What does that mean? He needs to have a brother. He needs to be able. A brother here means like a yid. He needs to have. In order for him to be a witness, he has to be able to be unwitnessed. He needs to be able to have a punishment like he wanted to punish his brother, and his brother's a yid. So that means he has to be a yid. Ma'achi ben Chayis. The same as his brother is Yichus. Yichus of Yaakov. Afa'ed ben Chayis. The same way his brother that he wants to testify on is a yid. Same to him. He also has to be a yid. So how much more so goyim? Im avodim shem mitzvah psulim hagoyim lekol shekain. If avodim slaves, which are chayiv, the are chayiv a certain set of mitzvahs, like a isha, the are chayiv a certain amount of mitzvahs, and they're still not qualified to testify, how much more so goyim, which are not chayiv in any mitzvahs, besides the 7 laws of Noach, but not chayiv in mitzvahs for Yidden. I mean, for Yidden obviously, but they're not chayiv in any of the Tag mitzvahs. The Eved is chayiv in part of the Tag mitzvahs. I hope I categorized that properly. Because 7 laws of Noach is also Tag mitzvahs. Okay. Halacha hey. Mishi chetzi Eved v'chetzi ben chayrin puzzle. Whoever is half a slave and half a ben chayrin is puzzled. Someone's half and half. He's not fully an Eved and he's not fully free. He's puzzled. Halacha vav. V'chol mishin ishtacher v'yer muchsa get shichrud puzzle. If someone was a slave and he got released, but he didn't get his bill of release, so he's still not fully free. He's not still fully free. Actually, get the other. He's not a yid. Actually, get the other. So how does it work? If a slave wants to be released, or when part of the process of being released is he gets a get, he gets a bill or a receipt that he gets an email. Congratulations, you are free. Gets the email. As long as he doesn't get the email that he's free, signed, the signature, then, and after he gets the document, he has to toivel in the mikvah. And he has to take upon himself to become a yid. Then he becomes a yid. If he doesn't do this process, if he's just told that he's getting free, but doesn't complete this process, then he's not considered a yid yet, and he cannot testify. Haktanim are apostle le'edus min haTorah. Shneim be'edim ve'amdu shnei ha'anashim asher lehem hardiv lifnei Hashem. That the people should stand up and have the complaint should come up and say. So that's tested from the Torah. So you need to have two anashim, someone who's over bar mitzvah, to testify. Lektanim. This is anoshim lektanim. Men, people, not ktanim. Even if he was smart and he was wise, he's still puzzle. Till he's 13 and he has 2 se'aris, which are proving that he's a gadol. When he's and if he reaches 20 years old and he still doesn't have signs of that he's a gadol, and then there was simonim that he's a serious, he's not able to reproduce, then he can testify. We know he's a gadol, but he's just a little different. And if he doesn't have simonis amsidus, he doesn't have simonim that he can't reproduce, then yes, I guess it takes. We can learn later on. He has to be, I guess, like very, very old. I don't know how old. So Rav Shneisa. What's Rav Shneisa? 50, 60, 70, 80? And then he could testify. We explained already issues, but the next cycle of the Rambam, we're going to explain it. That's what I'm saying. We're going to explain it later on. Halacha ches. A cotton which became older, became a bar mitzvah, and he has many bagros, he has a beard. You don't need to check further. If he doesn't have a beard when he's 13, then we have to check even more. Someone becomes 13, someone becomes a gadol, and we verify that he's take and he has tastitis, and he's take a gadol. The only problem is that he's not too smart. He's not. He doesn't really know too well about business, so he can't testify something that he doesn't know. Buying selling a property is not so easy. You think it's very easy, but there's documents, there's lawyers, there's processes, there's appraisals, there's evaluations. There's a lot of things that goes in to buying a piece of real estate. Even a field, there's a whole long process, a big process. And if you don't know about the process, then what are you testifying exactly? You don't even know what you're testifying on. The Shach writes, actually, regarding property, testifying regarding property stuff, he says it's one specific subject. If you don't know how to value a property, so you can't testify on evaluating property. But anything else you could. That's according to the Shach. If you don't know how to do these things, you're not going to know which details to specify on and look at and to see. Say, oh yeah, this is what happened, because you don't even know what to look at. She'einu idea, he doesn't know. But if it's something which is loose, I don't know. Let's say you're selling a charger. I guess everyone knows what this is, right? Type C, USB. Actually, I don't know what the last one is. There's Type C, then there's regular USB, then there's something else. Oh, Apple. Oh, what's it called? Flash, something like that. Lightning charger, FSSI. Okay, I got that. Everyone knows. Everyone knows about these things, chargers and phones and yonim. Okay. However, Godel. Yeah, he's a Godel and he. Yeah. Okay. Halacha tes. Hashoite. Someone who's a shoite. Pasul edus minateri. Minateri, he is pasul lefisha enim mitzvahs. He's not even chayiv mitzvahs. Someone's not chayiv mitzvahs. Again, he's patul. He is pasul. We're not talking about someone who walks around without clothing and he just breaks stuff and he just throws rocks. We're not talking about someone who's so extreme. Not only someone who's so extreme. Even someone who is crazy, but in some things he is normal. He's like crazy in many things, but he's normal in some things. So he can put up a nice show. Tell him put a tie, a jacket, nice shirt. He looks normal. but he is crazy. He's crazy. Some things he's normal. That thing, sorry, he looks normal, and some things he's crazy. The story of the Tzemach Tzedek, actually, that Tzemach Tzedek was known among many things. He was used to help agunas. And one time there was a lady who came to him, and she wanted to get divorced, and her husband is crazy, and he said, "You can't divorce her." So Tzemach Tzedek said, "Call him in." So they called him in, and Tzemach Tzedek pulled out of his pocket. They gave him like a dollar bill and told him go, a $5 bill, and told him go get some groceries and give me change. Okay, he went. Let's say it was a bottle of milk and 3 apples. He went to the store, and sorry, I missed out a detail. The funny part. He jumped right out the window. This shaiter jumped out the window, and he went to the marketplace, and he came back with a bottle of milk and 3 apples, and he gave him the change, how much as it was. And at that split second, Tzemach Tzedek said, "Hey, sign this get," and that's it. He let her go. Someone asked, "Well, what's going on over here? We thought he's a shaiter." So Tzemach Tzedek quoted the Gemara. I did not really prepare the story before, so I don't know all the details. He quoted a Gemara. I wish I would prepare before. I don't know that Gemara, but it says shaiter that sheideh limnei ismois. Someone who is crazy and knows how to count coins ain't a shaiter. So it means that in that moment we saw that he's normal. He saw that he knows how to count the change because he came back to change. We saw that he's normal. So in that moment he was normal. He's not considered a shaiter. And Tzemach Tzedek saved this aguna. So here in the Rambam it looks different. We're saying someone who is normal, but he's only crazy in one thing, so he's considered crazy in everything. I don't know. I'm not a paisik to tell you what's what, but I guess maybe for in any aguna we are mekel. Yeah, I'm just going to mention that. Yeah, even though he speaks and he asks, he looks normal. Everything else, yeah. He's considered a shaita. Yeah, hanichpe. What's a nichpe? Epilepsy. Yeah, you shouldn't hear about these things. Yeah, basically also he apostle. So the time that he was, at the time that he's experiencing this nichbe, he is puzzle. Actually, I remember I was once many years ago, maybe like over 20 years ago. I was with a friend of mine. I remember I went to a store. I remember I was looking for electronics. I won't forget that. I was in the electronics center. And I remember I was asking the employee some question about, something that I was looking for, maybe a charger. I don't know what it was. And maybe it was an iPad Nano. I don't know if you know what the iPod Nano is. Years ago, they used to make these things called, before iPhones came out, there was a thing called iPod Nano, iPod Classic, all these things. And we were talking to this employee in the store. We were asking for directions about a certain product. Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. Suddenly this guy faints in front of our face. He falls. We were like little. We didn't know what to do. We ran for our life. It's a huge store, a huge department store. We ran across. We ran over to the other side of the store. We were like completely freaked out. We didn't know what to do. We thought we did something to him. And then we told the employees. The employee said, don't worry about it. It happens to him. He's okay. And we came back, and he's standing there. Like, okay. I don't know. I guess he was experiencing something similar to that. And he was back to normal. He said, yeah, you can find it here, find it there. Everything was okay. Like, okay. Baruch Hashem, he's okay. And someone, doesn't make a difference if someone, it happens to him from time to time. I guess it's kind of expected, so he knows when it happens. Or something that happens to him unexpectedly. As long as he's not, when it happens to him, he loses his mind a little bit. So as long as he is normal in that period of time, then it's okay. Some people, when they experience this, they're not fully with it. Meaning, even when they're not experiencing it, they're not fully with it. So you have to make sure that when he's not experiencing this thing, he is fully with the program. And you have to go and sit down, and you can't really make concrete rules. You have to actually sit down and see the situation. If he's okay, then he could testify. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, when I was laughing, I'm not laughing at the person, laughing about like my experience of our experience with interaction with that person. Yeah. Halacha Yud. Hapsayim b'yoser. People who are, I guess they have a very low IQ. Their brain level is very, very low. I guess they don't fully understand things properly. Yeah. They don't get things which contradict each other. They can see a red light, they can see a green light, they can see a yellow light. For them, it's all the same. It doesn't contradict. Red, green, stop sign. You could drive, and there's a stop sign. Who said it makes a difference? I don't know. People who they can't make a difference. They can't differentiate, and they see two things that are opposite, and they can't really tell the difference. And they're not going to really understand things like regular people do. And same to crazy people who they make decisions so faster than they can understand what they're doing. They're in a situation and they make decisions. Why? We saw like these people make decisions before we even know what to do. Before they even understand, they digest what's going on. They already made it on to the next thing. They never understand what they're doing. All these people are b'chlal hashaitim. Yeah, this is the shaitim. This is based off what the dayan sees. You can't really tell you right now the exact rules about all these things. The dayan has to assess the situation. He will know what to do. Yeah. Just imagine myself. Once this person, there was a Rav giving a speech in his shul, and he used to give like a weekly shir, and he noticed one guy in the crowd who was nodding yes in the beginning of the shir, and in the middle of the shir he was going no, and the rabbi was so curious. He didn't ask him, and for weeks throughout the speech he's going yes. The middle is going no. He's going yes. Like wow. The rabbi was like, this guy, wow, he's agreeing with me, but then he's not agreeing with me. He's not. He is. He's not. I have to go ask him. Okay. After the speech one day, he says, I have to ask you, my dear friend, how come I see in the beginning of the speech you agree, but later on you don't agree, but then in the middle you do, then you don't. What's going on? So this guy was like a peasant. He's like, listen, Rabbi, with all due respect, I have to tell you, I'm a farmer and I have goats I raise goats. And when you start speaking, I look at you and I say, wow, you look like my goat. So I go, yes, you look like my goat. And then I say, no, you don't look like my goat. So I go, no. But then like a few minutes later into the speech, I'm thinking, no, you do look like my goat. I'm going, yes. And that's what's going on. Okay. Aleph. Someone who is deaf, he is like a shaiter. Yeah, his brain is can't really fully understand things, and he's like he's not even chayiv mitzvahs. I guess it's very interesting, and I knew this, but someone who's deaf, he's not chayiv mitzvahs. That's what it says over here. Hopefully Elon Musk will come up with this idea that people are going to start becoming, Elon Musk has all these things making people being able to see, being able to hear. Maybe these days these things are different. Maybe very soon these things are not going to exist. People are going to see, hear. Every people who weren't able to are going to start being to see and hear and everything, yeah? Someone who speaks and can't hear. Someone could hear but he cannot speak. Yeah, doesn't work. You have to be able to speak and hear, because you need to be able to testify. And Beis Din, once you testify, Beis Din actually threatens you, right? We learned about it, that Beis Din threatens to tell you, do you know, are you sure what you saw? And then they go on and on. So if you speak, but you can't hear, so yes, you can testify, but you cannot hear what they're trying to threaten you afterwards. Or if you could hear what they're trying to threaten you, but you can't speak. So either way, you're not fit. Someone who was able to hear and who was born that way. He was born normal and everything, but later on he lost his hearing or whatever. Still, it's not good. Even though when again Gitin, you can check a person is very ways of verification for someone who's not fully normal. So in Gitin, you could take his word, his testify. So by this one exception, that someone who is crazy and deaf and all these complex situations, that he will be accepted, that is for a get, because we're makel for aguna. But anything else, we do not accept him. Yeah, for someone being on a gittin, we ask a person 3 times on a certain thing, and that's how we verify it is actually normal. We say, what is this? 3 times, and if he says 3 times in a row, and he says the same thing, then we know that he knows what he's saying. But that is by only in the case of a guna, not in a regular case. Halacha Yud Beis, the final halacha of today's parak. Hasoimin, people who are blind, even though they could recognize the sound. Yeah, here also Elon Musk says he has these new glasses that people that are blind that can be able to see really soon. I think some people already could see already. If they can't see their apostle, he has to know, he has to see. Someone who is, the pasuk says, someone who is able to see, someone's able to see, he could witness. It says who aid or he saw or he knows. I guess he knows through seeing. What if he knows through hearing? I don't know. Okay. Good. Yeah, they can hear by the voice. They know. Yeah. So you have to be fully aware of what's going on. And if someone who's blind only with one eye, he could still see. So then he is kosher ha'id. Thank you very much. With that, we conclude Perek Tes. Thank you very much. Gute Nacht. Afreya lachem Chanukah.